Hi there, in this video we will talk about sets, which is the third data type in Python after lists and tuples. And if you remember in the previous videos that we said we have four data types. The first one is lists, which can deal with any type of data, whether strings or integers or Boolean or mixed. The same thing for tuple and the same thing for set. So if you remember, we say for list, it can accept duplicate items, the same thing for tuple, but for set, it doesn't take duplicate items. It means if the item has been recorded twice, it will ignore the second recording. It doesn't show you an error message, but it doesn't count it when we start counting the items per set. And remember, for lists, we use square brackets. For tuple, we use round brackets. For set, we use curly bracket. And the topics we will cover it in this video. First, we need to talk about the definition of set and try to differentiate between set, list, and tuple. And then how to create a set, then how to add a new item to the set, or remove an existing item, and how to do mathematical operations. When I say mathematical operations, either addition or subtraction from the items, which is unique to sets and it didn't exist in list or tuple. So what do we mean by set? We said set, it's a group of elements that usually used for mathematical operations like union, which is addition, intersection, which is the item that are repeated in two sets, symmetric difference, the items are not reported in both sets or unique to each set. And the set itself is mutable. It means it's changeable. What does it mean? Whenever you call print method to print the items of the set, you see that the items are not printed in the same sequence. So if you print a set in the first time, you might see one sequence of item. If you repeat the same method print, then you might find a different sequence. So we can use set as a mutable item, but the element in each set is immutable. It means it doesn't change. So we can add or remove items, but when we come to duplicate items, they are ignored. Because the items in the set are not ordered, so we cannot use indexing or slicing as we did with list and tuple. So please remember in set that we cannot use slicing or indexing. The set is mutable. It means the arrangement of the items are coming randomly, but each item is immutable. And here is same types that I have showed you in previous videos when we talked about list and tuples. And I thought to repeat the same item to show you how they look like in sets. So I created here 5 sets. I'm gonna put them here. And let us run each code. So we need to clean up the data before we run the code. And here we see 5 methods. For the sake of convenience, I'm going to hash the last one because I need to show you the exception on this one. And I will print out the first 4 sets. As you can see here, all of them, they come in one long line separated by curly brackets. So you can issue a set of strings or integers or Boolean or mix, but you cannot create an item of list in set. And this is what I put in example 5 in set 5. When I say print set 5, you will see here that I will get an error message. Why do I get error message? Because you see here, I created a set of one element, and this element is a list. So it doesn't work. So how can I play around this one? We remove the curly brackets and put the method set. So here we say set. We put the round bracket and then we put the list. Here it will show you that we can print it out because of the quotation sign. So I'm going to change this one. A, B, C, and run the code. And here I will get it. So what does it tell you? That you can create a set of one item which is list, but you need to put the round brackets. Of course, look here at the sequence. In set one, I started by apple, banana, cherry, but when it printed out the items, the sequence was not the same as I arranged. In the same way here, in the second set, the third, and the fourth. So this can tell you that every time you say run, if you see here, I run it again, and then I get a different sequence, which tells you that the items in each set are randomly indexed, so we cannot use slicing or indexing here. So remember, the set could include any type of data, but here, if I try to create a set, I need to be careful, because if I created an empty set and I didn't define it well, it might end up to be a dictionary. So here I try to create an empty set and I say set, I put curly brackets, but I put space between them, which is empty. And I say type this set for me. When I get the type, Python identify this type of set as a dictionary, not set. So how can I define a set or an empty set? We use round the bracket as I did in the previous example. So here, I copy set with round the bracket instead of curly bracket, and I print it and I get the type set. So please remember, when you create an empty set, you use round the bracket with set method instead of using curly bracket. So this is the second item we need to be aware of. The first one is the definition. The second one is creation. And in the same type or same category, we need to know how we count the length of the set, which we did it before when we were working with lists. Here I have my set, and you need to pay attention to that, because this set has 6 elements: ABC, 34, true, 40, and male has been repeated twice. And I say, count how many items in this set, and the answer is 5. So why we don't get 6? Because male has repeated twice, and this can show you that if you repeat the items, all the duplicated items will be ignored. To confirm what I said, I'm going to repeat or delete this repeated item, and I print it and I get 5. This can tell you here the repeated item has not been counted. The next point that you need to know of is the how to go around the set, or how to loop the set. So I have here a set of 3, 6, 7 items. And I say, if you have true into my set, print out, yes, I found it. If not, say, I couldn't found. And we had the same loop. We have it with strings or lists and tuple. The same loop, we can use it in a set. The third point we need to be aware of is the addition. If I create a new set, please remember what I mentioned in the previous video of tuple. We say we cannot add or delete anything from the tuple because it's mutable. But for the set, it is mutable. It means you can add new items to the set without changing the set into list as we did with tuple. So here I want to add one item only. If I would like to add one item only to the set, I will use add method here. So I print, I get an error message because of the quotation sign. So here I will use it ABC and I print and I get the new item. So now notice two things. First, true has been repeated, but when I print it out, I got it once. Second, ABC has been repeated here or included here, so I was able to add the item. Let me run it again, and you see that the sequence is not the same here. That tells you that the items in the set are not indexed. Now, how can I add more items? I use another method, we call it update. So update, if you need to add more than one item, you can use update method. So here we have my set. And instead of adding, I'm going to use update. And here I will put X, Y, Z, then comma, 1, comma, 2. So here I am adding more than one item and I say print. Okay, the integer is not iteratable. So let me put another one here like LMO and then I print, and here it can tells you that we repeated more than one item. So now notice that you can add more than one item, but when I say add XYZ, it didn't add XYZ as one word, but it splits the word into individual characters. And this is what we mean by update. So here we can get it and then we can add. So this can tell you that we can use add to add one item, update if we would like to add more than one item. But here you can use update to add a list or a tuple or a dictionary to the set. So please remember, we don't have to add strings or numbers, but we can add even a different data type. So remember those two methods. Then let us go to the next one, which is removal. So for addition, we use add or update. For removal, we use two different methods. One, we call it discard. The second one, remove. For discard, here is the item. We have my set, and I would like to discard drop true. So when I print, remember here that true is repeated twice. So when I discard, first we ignore the duplicated item. Second, we drop true, so we end by 3 elements in the set. But you need to notice here, if true is not included in the set. So for example, I will put LM LIMO, okay? Well, I say discard LIMO from the set, but LIMO doesn't even exist in the set. And I run the code here. Notice one thing, that LIMO is not defined. So here we can remove the item. If we say, oh, sorry, we put LIMO here. It's a string, and I print, and look here. It didn't say anything, even if LIMO is not even included in the set. So discard mean whatever I put it between the brackets here, it will be discarded, whether it exists in the set or not. But let me show you now how remove works. So instead of discard, I'm going to put remove. And first, I will put true, as I did with discard. And I say print, and look here, it removes true. So as we said, we dropped off the first true because it was duplicated, and now it removes true. Now, if I put LIMO as I did in discard, and I run the code, then I will get an error message. And this is the key difference between remove and discard. In remove, if the item is not included in the set, you get error message. If the item is included in the set, then you get, then it doesn't count. And this is what I put it in the blue boxes here. For removal, we ignore, for discard, we ignore the item completely. For removal, if it's not existed in the set, then you get an error message. So please remember those two methods, discard and remove. And the next one is pop. Pop here, we have done it with the lists where we can drop off the last item. And here, I can use it with set at will. I wasn't able to do it with tuple until I changed tuple into list. And then I run the code. But I can use here pop. And as you can see, it dropped off the last number. But which number has been dropped is number 40. But you say 40 is not the last item in the set. Yes, because it prints out randomly. If I run it again, you keep running, then you see that the sequence is a change, and it depends here which number is the last one, and this number has been dropped. So pop with empty squares means remove the last item. What about if I need to clear off this set? So here, instead of pop, I'm gonna put clear and run the set. You see here, it gives me an empty set. So remove will remove one item if it's included. Discard, it will ignore the item. Pop will remove the last item. Clear will make the set empty. And the last method is delete. So if I say here, del my set, and then try to print it, I get an error message. It means that this set has been deleted and Python cannot recognize it. To prove what I said, I'm going to cancel the code and I run it again, I will get the whole thing. So del can be used with list, with tuple, and with set, which can remove the whole variable. So please remember the different methods we use it to remove the items from the set. The next important item, and this is the most important item in set that doesn't exist with list or tuple, is the mathematical operation. When we say mathematical operation, we create two different sets and we try either to unify them, we call it union, and the symbol we used here is vertical line, or try to get the numbers that are common in both sets, we call it intersection, or the difference in the first, not the second, in the first set that doesn't show up, or the symmetric difference which exists in both sets, but not common between them. And remember the symbols we use it. And here I created two sets, my set and new set. And then I try to show you here, in the first one, we make a new set that has all the items of both sets. Here we try to get the intersect or the common elements between the two sets. Here the difference that what exists in my set that doesn't show in new set. And here we get the symmetric difference. So let us take the whole code and try to print it out. So here we just need to change the quotation sign. The last one here, symmetric difference. And we run the code, we get it. So let me show you here. In the first item, the union, you can see that we get a new set. So please remember, this is a new set. The intersect, it's the common element between the two sets. The difference are the items in A that has not been repeated in B set, or my set that has not been repeated in new set. And the symmetric difference, the items in my set and new set that are not included in both of them. So we call it symmetric difference. So remember here, the code I use it is to create a new set, either by unifying the two sets or intersection difference or symmetric difference. But now let me show you another method that we can use it, which is update. In update method, that I update one set by doing a function here. So here I have my set, new set, sorry. Okay, and I need to update my set with all the items from new set. It means my set is updated, but not a new set has come out. It's the same one, but it has been updated with all the items from new set. Of course, remember, the item that has been repeated in my set and new set have been deleted already, because it's mentioned here in new set, which is like 6, 7, and 8. So update means update the current set with new elements. Also, we can do intersection, which is updating my current set with the intersection elements that comes from new set. So here you go. And then we say print, and you can see here. So now my set has been updated with the intersection numbers that comes between the two sets. The next one is difference update. So here we use my set updated with the difference between them. And here you can see. So now I get my set updated by the difference that comes from the two sets. So remember here, update, it changes the current set, but when you say union or difference or symmetric or difference, this can tell you that we create a new set. The last one is symmetric difference update. And here we get the numbers that do not exist in both of them, but not overlapping. So here you can see that my set has been updated by the symmetric difference. So in this short video, remember that we try to define the set, we try to create a set, add new items to the set, remove some of the items, and run some mathematical operations on the set. I hope you find this video useful. And if anything is unclear, please feel free to reach out to me at your convenience time. Thank you so much. And in the next video, we talk about dictionaries, which is the last data type in Python.